never sleep. So this life's always with me. The ice inside my veins will never bleed. Every time you try to fix me, I know you'll never find that missing piece. When you cry until you miss me, I'll lie and tell you that I'll never leave. I've always sacrificed your love for a night. I try to put up a fight, can't always be there. I don't wanna sacrifice for love now. I try
You see here, kid? You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump.
I've been feeling so alone with nowhere to go. I don't even pick up the phone when I see it glow. I could tell you everything, but you'll never know how I'm really feeling inside. Don't know how to show, so I stay inside my room talking to the wall.
All right, guys, what is going on? What is good? What is good? Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Right, I hope you guys came in ready to learn. Hope you came in ready to learn something today. Okay, we should be good to go. Okay. Cool. All right. We good on audio? We good on visuals? Can everybody see? Can everybody hear? Can everybody see? Can everybody hear? Drop some ones in the chat. Drop the number 1 in the chat if you guys can see, if you can hear, and if you're ready to learn something. If you're ready to learn, dog. What's today? Wednesday, right? It's Wall Street Wednesday. Oh, I forgot to put that in there. We'll add that. And we'll open the chat to subscribers as well. We'll go ahead and do that too. We'll open the chat a little bit today. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. We'll go over a number of different things, and one of those is going to be indicators. I don't talk a lot about indicators. I think most of them are not useful. But indicators that display time and or price, those are solid. So I'm going to go over a few of those. And that's why I specifically said time and price based indicators, because yeah. So what's good? MJ, Naruto, Felix, Jorks, Ibran, Dog, Aquazi, Mason, Eric, Manuel, Shay, Harmon, 2020, Adam, Capitalist, Edgar, Prosper, Leon, and anybody else that I might have missed. So I've been working on the side. I think I told you guys this yesterday with one of our students who can code a little bit. Coding is not all the same, right? Pine script is different than whatever else is out there. Lynx or Linux or whatever. I don't know. I can't code for shit, right? And recently, John Doe in our Discord did release this to me the other day, which is actually number 2. Let me go over number 1 first. So before we get into all of that, we'll take the fibs off. So the very first one I'll tell you about, most of you guys already know this, but I think it was 2020 I had this made. I put this out for the community, and it is called John Phibbs London and New York Open, right? So that plots, what I look for specifically is midnight New York, And I say that because that's actually 11 p.m. for me since I'm Central Time. So that's going to plot 11 p.m., which is midnight New York. And then it's going to plot 8:30, which is our equities open. And the lines will extend to current price. I wish they would allow indicators to extend beyond price, like the way the other indicator is, but it's just not that way. You used that a lot back in the day. So it's really easy. It's just a reference point of time and price. And so what was the price at that specific time? Anything above that can be considered a premium. And then same thing for equities open. Anything above that can be considered a premium. When price is above both, that is very premium. Why do I use the midnight New York and not the market rollover open? You mean like the overnight open? Like when the day like closes and then it opens an hour later? You talking about that one? So that's different. That's the like overnight open. I really don't pay attention to that. I pay attention to the gap itself. If there is one, we don't really get a lot in yesterday's one. But I don't really look at that as a opening price reference point. I don't do that. I use midnight New York. And then same thing for equities. Soon as equities opens, whatever that price is for the indices specifically, I want to know that. So again, if we're above both of them, that's an extreme premium. If we are below both of them, that can be considered a extreme discount. All right. So I'll give you a real quick example before we move on. This was something I was looking at earlier. This was actually over on ES as well. Actually, I'll just go ahead and pull that up instead because that's got the markups on it already. Here's our equities, right? That old gap over here. And then here's midnight New York. So we do get above both of them right at our open. Again, into that daily, I don't forget which the date, like dates that is, but it is an important level, as I explained yesterday quite extensively. We're above both. ES is higher while NQ is lower. That is manipulation, that's distribution. And then it absolutely rips all the way down to whatever gap that is. I just don't remember because it's a 5-minute time frame. But the point is, when we traded lower into that gap, 50% respected, we get a shift in the state of delivery here. We have these down candles here as well. We continue, right, towards our opening prices. And then we trade back lower. And then I want to say right here at 10:15, that 15-minute candlestick was a 5-minute time frame, but I'm saying that 15-minute candlestick here has no pants on. So it traded back down and traded right into that lack of wick. And as much as I wanted to long that, I didn't. But the whole point is we have both opening prices up here, and that lack of wick, right? The no pants candle, basically. That right there is a really, really good long. So, you guys good with that so far? Drop some twos in the chat if you get it. It's just, if we're above both, that's an extreme premium. It doesn't need to be that way. Like, you can still long above them or short below them, right? It's just ideally, right? Ideal shorts are above. Ideal longs are below. Okay? So it's real easy. That's all it ever was, is a reference point in time and price. Okay. All right. Okay. Number 2 is equities open. That was the one I had just told you about a minute ago. We've talked about this a lot on this channel. Equities opening range is the first 30 minutes of the stock exchange. So the exchange opens for me right at 8:30. Okay, that would be 9:30 a.m. EST. The highest high and the lowest low within that 30-minute time window, I want to be aware of. There's going to be liquidity built there. There's going to be liquidity built at the low as well. Now, on a day like today, it can still be useful. This may want to trade higher, and that is our current high of day, as well as equities open high. Now, even if we don't get up there, there's always going to be other days, like say yesterday, for example, Tuesday the 19th. Yeah, say yesterday, for example, right? Equities open high, equities open low. What did ES do? We had ended up running the 840 high like right at 9 o'clock. So where does liquidity build up? At 8:30, we had traded lower and made a low right there. What does the market attack? Opposing liquidity. You see that? You can backtest this all you like. Shit, I recommend it actually. Same thing over here. Equities open high, equities open low. We trade higher, take the high, traded lower, took the low. See how that works? Real complicated stuff here, man. On a day like Friday, probably wouldn't have really done a whole lot. The low actually does get taken right at 9. So sometimes that can, I guess, I don't know the right word. That 9 o'clock low ends up becoming the liquidity instead. So it may not always be specifically what's in that time window. Okay. But again, you can keep going back and looking at the ranges and being able to tell if they were for a sweep of liquidity or for an attack on opposing liquidity. Okay. And so on and so forth. Okay. So number 1 was my indicator that I dropped like 5 years ago. Number 2, equities opening. It's called equities open. It's really the equities opening range, but we won't argue semantics here. Number 3, I think I have it on here. Yeah, number 3 is going to be the macros. So it's called macro timeframes with opening price. If you guys cannot find these, I will drop them in the Discord later, or the other students will, and then I'll pin the messages like I did yesterday. Okay. So in the general chat, check the pin messages, and you should be able to see them, along with whatever else has been pinned. Okay. So we will take off equities open so we can clean this up a little bit. Macros are a 20-minute time window. They are the last and the first 10 minutes of every hour. Most of you know this already, right? Look at that. Our low of day was the 10 o'clock macro inside the old gap over here, right? That's why time and price is important. I know I kind of arrogantly said this yesterday, right? I keep trading, not every day, of course, but you see a lot of when I exit at the high of the day, or I might get in near the low of the day, and it's stuff like this, okay? It's time and price at the same time. They're married, time and price, and they are not getting a divorce. You understand? Look at this macro here. Our 11 o'clock macro dropped us down to that lack of wick. Shift in the state of delivery, retracement, sends higher. You see how that fucking works, bro? 12 o'clock macro, we haven't really done a lot here. But you can see why those time windows are important. That's our current low of day. That to me was more of a rebalancing. It is a retracement, yes. No wick, right? Needed to offer sell side price delivery, and then we had continued higher. So not every single macro to me is worth trading, and sometimes they're extensions, sometimes they're reversals, sometimes they're continuations. It just depends. I mean, it's only 20 minutes. It's not that long of a time. But again, when you see me exit near the high of the day, or a lot of the times at the high of day to the minute, like that actual fucking minute, it's because of this. I'm hitting higher time frame targets at the right time. Okay. We do 2 already. Okay. So drop some 3s if you guys are with me so far. We talked about equities open and midnight New York open, right? My John Phibbs London and New York open indicator. We talked a little bit on the equities opening range. Let's put that back on here. Right? Highest high and the lowest low in the first 30 minutes of the day. And then we had just got done talking very briefly on macros. Okay, cool. So we'll take that off. We'll take this off. And then we'll take the macros off as well. So the last one, honestly, out of all of the ones, I really think the TTM one is fucking badass, bro. That's this one. So I think this is phenomenal. And again, even though it is a indicator, it's really more of just, it's actually closer to the triple screen than it is like an indicator, because all you're doing is adding another time frame to your chart, but it plots it over here. And the best part, and I don't know if John is here, the one that was working on the equities open the other day, is when you warp the chart, it doesn't move. So it's not like it plots them and then you manipulate the chart and then those don't move. They stay with the price. So you can see, like, if we took 8 o'clock, right? Where's 8 o'clock's open? Right there. You see that? I'm pretty sure. That open. There we go. Right. So you see some shit like that. And then there's our open, right? We traded higher. There's that wick. There's that above the hour. We extend lower and then to the close. And the close is right there. See that? You see how that works? So it aligns with the price. I know, capitalist. It's sick. It's fucking awesome. That's why I like it. And then another really cool thing too is you can have multiple candles on here. So I think I've got 11. Right? I have 11 candles, 25 offset. Now I have, okay, let me explain this. When you add this indicator, add it 2 times or even 3 times, 1 for each time frame. So what I mean is I have one down here, and what this one is for is the 1 hour time frame. I've got 11 candles. I think 25 is like the normal offset. Candle bodies green. I mean, you could change this to white, I guess, if you wanted to like match the chart. I never really got too deep into that, but that's what that is, right? Now, if I take my other one, if I plot my other one, now it's going to give me the daily. So now I can see, okay, where are we at on the daily? And there's, just based on the current candles I have, there's really not any reference points that I would care to look for. But it's good to know where we're at on the daily. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty cool. So that one's the daily. This one is the hourly. So that way we know, let's say where we are right now, and in relevance to our range, we're about halfway. And then on the hourly, you can see, okay, we're coming off of that imbalance from this morning. So we're seeing a little bit of weakness. We're seeing a little bit of consolidation here, which is not a surprise, right? So not just knowing where you're at in the range, but being able to reference other time frames. Awesome. That's really good shit. Okay. Yeah, it plots the higher time frame candles on the right. And like I said, you could have the daily, you could have a 1 hour. So if I change this, let's say to a 15-minute, now we have that. And now you can see what I was saying earlier, that 10-15 candle has no pants on? See that? That's right there. And if I extend that over, see how it, what the fuck? You see how it aligns with that? So we understand, okay, that 15-minute drop lower is here on a 5-minute time frame. Yeah, pretty cool stuff, isn't it? And then, let me see something. That's 11. So that's the open of a new hour. We hit the no pants candle, right? And then we trade off of it. 11 is right here. We trade down. That is the start of a new 15-minute candle. So that right at 11 o'clock trading down, that could be a long. And you're longing the next candle after the rebalancing. You see that? That's fucking cool, man. That is absolutely awesome. And that's all it is just a representation of time. And yeah, Jorks, I agree. That's why I have one. Well, I changed it now to show you, but you could have as many as you want. You bet your ass you need a daily. I don't know about everything else. Weekly, that's up to you. Everything else above that is pretty insane for day trades, but it's your career. You do what you got to do. But I do like the 1 hour reference point for, let's say, a 5-minute time frame. I want to know where I'm at. And it's also a good reminder of candle closures, right? So for example, it's 12:30. That means we're on a 1 hour. That's, let me see. Oh, what the fuck? That would be a good reminder, right, of the next up and coming candle. So let's say, well, we can't go back in time, but if it's like 12:26, 12:27, okay, well, 12:30 is about to open. And if we are going to go higher, we may trade below the 12:30 open first. So we may want to wait before we enter. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the point here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So that's pretty great. Okay. But yeah. If you change the offset to the 50 for the daily, does it show both together? I don't know. I haven't tried that. Like if we change the offset from 25 to 50, would that move it over? Yeah. But again, at the same time, I have a lot of candles. Like if I change that to 3 or 5, maybe. Yeah, I guess it would display both. That was kind of weird though. I'd have to move the lower one over. But I like having more than just the last couple days. I want to reference old shit in price. Not just on the smaller time frames, but on the higher as well. So yeah. Let me go ahead and change that back. But I mean, you can do the same thing I'm doing, chat. You can go in here, mess with the settings, mess with the colors, right? Figure out what you like, broski. Figure out what you like. But that's cool. This will save you from dumbass fucking trades. I'm telling you. Right? Kind of like yesterday. I know I went on a fucking tangent yesterday. But it's like, if you had, you know, higher time frame reference points, you know, okay, are we going to long in here when we've got lows down here? And then we have a daily gap below that. Are we going to long up in here? No. No, we're not going to do that. We can long after, right? After we get a run below the lows, we get, you know, some level of rebalancing. Okay, cool. Now we can long. You see what I'm saying? No raid, no trade, Mason. Right. So anyway, what are my predictions for today? Well, the crystal ball's running low on batteries, but I think it told me higher. I think it told me higher. So, let me go back to your question, Adam. I totally forgot about that. Do you think trading the first 30 minutes is low probability because you don't really know what the range, because it hasn't played out? We have to wait for liquidity to form in the first 30 minutes. No. I proved that wrong yesterday. I entered 5 minutes before equities open. And then took a little bit of drawdown, and then the market shit to bed. So I even saw a tweet yesterday that said that. Don't trade the first 30 minutes. Well, just because you can't trade the first 30 minutes doesn't mean that I can't do it. You know what I mean? But I'm going to tell you, okay, 95% of the time, I'm going to wait for the first 30 minutes to form. Especially if I sleep in. But it's not because the range hasn't formed yet. It's just typically because equities typically sees a lot of volatility. If I expect it to run London's high or a pre-market high or London's low or a pre-market low or some shit, then I don't want to stand in front of that. So most of the time, I'm going to wait for it to form. But that doesn't mean it's not a set in stone rule. Is there a specific time window that can be called pre-market? Honestly, I don't know. Probably 7:30 to 8:30 or 7 to 8:30. I never really thought about it, honestly. Raid the original consolidation above New York Open from today. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I said that earlier. Not that it was bullish, but I said that NQ, we're on NQ, was lower while ES was higher. So this here is a failure swing. I mean, it's at a good spot. It's at a gap, right, that we talked about. That gap was bearish. It ain't going to be bearish forever, though. So anybody that has been short today, if they've held on too long, then they may end up getting cooked. Right? Consolidation, something on the higher time frame. I know ES had hit that gap. Signature of continuation. Very small consolidation in here, and then we're higher. And I know I had the fibs on here earlier. But I've told you time and time again that 50% is a discount if the market is bullish. It's also a discount if the market's bearish. So we see here that we crossed 50% back into a discount, filled in some stuff that needed to be taken care of. We further extend above 50%. We go back into a discount, but look how shallow that is. Right? It's pretty shallow right there. So although it spends a little bit of time in discount, it doesn't go deep into a discount. Bullish markets don't give super deep retracements. You already had one here. So again, logically, I could see it going higher. But as I've stated, the market will do that once something on the higher time frame has been taken care of. Until then, it's going to remain bearish, just like yesterday. It remained bearish all fucking day. How do I put this? So, Jung, even other schematics, okay, whatever schematics that you have, none of it will work unless it aligns with the higher time frame. None of it will work unless it aligns with time and price. Price will not move until is it allowed to. All right, I don't know why I keep saying that fucking wrong. Price will not move until it is allowed to move. Okay? It will be stuck in consolidation until allowed to move. And again, this is why we have certain time-based principles, right? What's our low of day? The 10 o'clock macro. That's our low of day. Now it's allowed to trade higher. Retracement in the macro. Now it's allowed to trade higher. Retracement in the macro below 50%. Not a real deep retracement. Now we're seeing higher pricing. Price, okay, without the right time, it ain't going to work well for you. You're going to take drawdown, or you're going to sit in consolidation and worry because you're like, why is it not going my direction? Am I wrong? Like, what the fuck? Right. Because you got to know this stuff. So it's not that. Here's my point in short. You can't take the cookie cutter approach to the market. You can't just say, all right, well, I have a Wyckoff schematic. I have an MMXM schematic. I have a fucking ABCD schematic, a 1, 2, 3, 4 schematic, whatever it is. You can't just take that and then slap it on a chart and expect it to work every single time. That's not how it works. They will work, right? Again, with what I just told you, when they are allowed to. When you have higher time frame stuff in mind and you do shit at the right time, then you'll get your bangers. Then you'll take trades like me. Not every trade I take is a banger, but you know, I shared some shorts yesterday from the community, right? We slapped yesterday. And that's how you want to trade, right? You want to go short before the big move. You typically don't want to short here. I mean, you can, but it's a little bit later and you don't catch as much. Let's say like the reversal here, for example, that no pants here. The opportunity is what? From here all the way up here, possibly even to the higher end of Sunday's gap, back to that 480 or 480, not 580, right? That could be an upside target. That is low risk, high reward setups, trading in potentially the higher time frame direction. Yeah, capitalist banned. Banned. So, I don't go live in the Discord. Libright does on Thursdays. So that may change. I may end up taking Friday's live stream off the internet, or off to the public rather. And I may change that over into Discord. But see, so here's the thing. Because I'm on YouTube and we have a Discord, they both have live stream features. So I can live stream on YouTube only to members. So that almost defeats the purpose of having a live stream in the Discord. Because you can't access it unless you're a member either way. And yeah, Mark, he does Thursdays at the same time that I do mine here. So that's why you guys get 5 streams a week. You get 4 that I do, you get 1 from Libright, and you get the 2 market reviews. You get a lot of content. So you get to learn from myself. You get to learn from Lee Bright, one of my most successful students. So it's not just one person, is it? Nope. Plus, there's a community, so you guys can ask each other questions anyway. So you never just learn from one person. Know what I mean? So what other questions you guys got? I got through what I wanted to get through today. Look at that. Down candle here. Shift in the state of delivery. Back into it. Discount. We should expect what? Expansion. Retracement. What's next? Expansion. That's fucking hard. Yeah, that's real hard. I could still be wrong. We may not trade higher, but I'm going to stick with that until proven otherwise. Right, Adam. All for 25 bucks. Yep. Yep. Nobody should be subject to really, really expensive pricing. For what? For what? Why does that have to be expensive? So fucking Goober CEO can buy a third Lamborghini? For what? Fuck that. Fuck that. So I'll leave it here for a minute. If you guys have any last minute questions. I don't know, Adam, because they want a fucking Lamborghini, bro. Lamborghinis are not cheap. The oil change isn't even $1,000. The oil change is like $2,000 to $3,000, and that was many, many years ago. It might be more expensive now. Which gap, Grobert? Which gap are we talking about? Are we talking about this one up here? A lot of the gaps that I use, okay, are going to be overnight gaps. The overnight is that 1 hour time period every day. Slightly new high on NQ. That would be a break even for me for anything down in here, personally. Or the 75 level may be a good partial if we get there. But yeah, are you talking about these like up here? I usually have them labeled. You know what? I'll probably go over that on Friday. I need to make a few more preset lines for you, and then we'll go over that. Yo, Naruto, you know what, man? I saw a fucking lawsuit earlier this year, bro, and that shit was bonkers. This fucking CEO, bro. He God dog, bro. He signed on to pay his ex-wife like 60 grand a fucking month, bro. I was almost sad myself. I was like, fuck. You know what I mean? So that's just, look, man. I'm not saying the whole MLM industry is dog shit. I'm not saying that. You know what I mean? But some companies out there, bro, y'all don't realize you're paying hundreds of dollars a month to pay some alimony to some bitch you don't even know. No respect, or no disrespect, ladies. But it's like some chick you don't even know. And you're filling her pockets. I don't know, man. Ugh. It's gross. And I'm not even talking about ISIS, by the way. That's a completely different company. So, anyway, I don't know how we got here. How did we get here? How do we get to left field, chat? We always end up in left field somehow. Got in here late, but saw the sales in the AM. and saw the upside before you called. It feels good when your mentor posts your trades on Instagram. Thank you. Oh yeah, no, you're welcome, bro. I got to do a little bit of marketing. You know, I don't do a lot of marketing. I'm definitely not the Alex Hormozy of marketing, but people got to know who's winning around this bitch. You know what I mean? People need to know who's winning around here, dog. Yeah, I agree, Manuel. I agree. When do I use regular trading hours? Every day. You look at both. You look at electronic and you go to regular as well. The trading view will, you know, load for you. So we have that gap here too, which is also that original consolidation. That's why I said we may end up going up there. But we won't know, bro. We won't know until the next couple hours pan out. But every day, when they're in conjunction, that's when you get really, really good trades. So there's your answer. Meeting minutes in 10. Let me see. I don't even think it's or maybe that was last week. Fuck, I can't remember. FOMC, because there was, no, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm thinking of last week. Because one of them was minutes, but not the actual meeting minutes. I can't remember what day that was. Say the 20th. Yeah, okay. All right, well, since we're here, we might as well stay, see if meeting minutes does anything. But since we are here, so tomorrow, Thursday, August 21st, we do have unemployment at 7:30, right? So prior to equities tomorrow, we do have unemployment claims. And then we have manufacturing PMI at 8:45. So an hour prior to equities, and then 15 minutes into equities, we're going to have some shake and bake tomorrow. So I'd probably expect some volatility tomorrow. And then Friday, we have Fed Chair Powell speaking 30 minutes into equities. That's great. And then day 2 of Jackson Hole Symposium. It's going to be a wild week, probably. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up so we could announce that for the stream. Wow, Adam. Yeah, I still have fake accounts going around. It's fucking crazy. That's why I'm verified on all of my social media. So I don't know how much I pay, like probably $40 a month or $50 a month or something to be verified across all of them, just because of that. That's why social media companies, bro, don't do anything about scammers. They're just like, oh, if you want to do anything, then just buy from us, right? Fucking bastards. Bastards. So, Adam, send me an Instagram what your Twitter is. I'll follow you on my real Twitter account. I'm now at the point that I passed challenges, but not reached the point to a payout. Do you have any advice? Well, brother, I don't give any financial advice whatsoever. Right? I don't know about you guys. I keep getting fucking spam texts all the time. What are you doing differently? Something you're doing is inherently different. Right? What you did to pass a combine or a challenge and what you need to do to get a payout is the same. You got to take good trades, low risk, high reward setups. You got to make more than you lose. Now, there are some criteria, you know, $200 days for at least 4 days or 5 days. It used to be 5. I think they changed it to 4, you know, whatever. But something you're doing is inherently different. Yeah, Jordan, all we did today is we went over a few different indicators. So if you can't find, if you guys cannot find them, I'll share them in the Discord later. Some of them are also in the pinned messages already, but I went over some TTM, HTF, candle overlay, power of 3. You guys should be able to find that very easily. And we went over how some of these higher time frames, say like a 1 hour, can be plotted so that way on a 1 minute or 5 minute time frame, you still have, even if you move the chart, you still have those reference points to understand where you're at in price, where you're at in a certain range, where you're at on a higher time frame. I did tell people to have the indicator multiple times, so that way one can be a 1 hour, and instead of changing the settings, another one can be like a daily, right? Actually, earlier I had this at 11. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Make it 12, so we have a nice even number here. Right, so that way you understand if there's a gap or, you know, something that's important over here, you can reference that on a lower time frame so you know where you're at to help navigate price. Will the live stream be available after it's over? Yeah, today's will. Today's live stream will be available. The one from yesterday, I made members only. You can't walk a dead cat. I even changed the thumbnail too. Right, Robert, because no patience. You want money now. That's the problem. What's slow will grow. What's fast doesn't last. You got to remember, man, if you're trading futures, okay, and it's the same thing in Forex too. The difference between, oh, that reminds me, we got to go over McDonald's. The difference between, let's say, traditional stocks and Forex and futures especially is the leverage, right? As all the warnings say, as all the risk disclaimers say, leverage can work for you as well as against you, right? So when you're trading an asset that is highly leveraged, it does give you that rush, right? Making a lot of money quickly is fun. Yes, I can agree. But when you try to supercharge your trading, you're trying to pyramid on the way up or pyramid on the way down, yeah, that will supercharge your fucking returns. But if you get it wrong, then that supercharge will go against you, right? And if you're taking a bunch of losses or a bunch of break evens, you know, that's frustrating. And you're going to try to keep trading or whatever, or double up on the next one, or, you know, something that you're not supposed to do. You're going on tilt. That's where traders get hurt. And this is why we have all those rules. That's why I made the 48 laws of trading. That's why I make videos all the time on mindset and stuff like that. I get you guys to read Stoic philosophy. I try to get you to read. You probably don't, but, you know, at least it ain't my fault if you fuck up. It's yours. All due respect, child. It's yours. Jordan, I had that same problem. It kept getting removed from the chart, so I had to add it manually. That's what happened today. Actually, I had to re-add it again. So I don't know what's up with that. What we need to do is just have one account on TradingView, just publish all of them. Okay, I don't care about having my name on any of those. I'm not gonna put my name on TTM. I'm not gonna take someone else's shit and put my fucking name on it. But that one I had made, well, yeah, that's mine. But all the other ones, you can just call it for what it is, or you can put your own name on it. I don't care. I'm not making any money from the indicators. That's not the point. They're all free. So we got another like 2 minutes until meeting minutes. I won't be here for another like 30, 45 minutes. I haven't eaten today. I'm fucking starving. I'm hungry. But we may get a little bit of volatility. I don't know. But again, keep in mind, chat, we are near 50%. We have this overall range here. May not be ideal for taking new trades right now. And we're coming up on the open of an hour. So, I don't know what to expect. We'll take a brief look at ES real quick too. There's that higher high, as I mentioned earlier. That discount down in here and down in here. We are a little bit higher. No big deal. Now, Dow, it's hard for me to say what Dow wants to do. We do have an imbalance down here, and you can see that even with the indicator, right? That day low to that day's high is right there. And you can see that with the horizontal lines because they're drawn from like way over there. But they line up with this. So I could see it's going down here. But Dow is our strongest index today, relative. And we did take these lows in here, traded higher. Mitigation model. We have not seen a lot of upside though. We've seen a lot of sideways. Chipotle does sound good, I'll be honest, bro. I haven't been in a minute. It's been like a week and a half or so. They have a honey chipotle chicken. Fire. It's pretty good. It is pretty good. Honey chipotle chicken, pinto beans, white rice, corn, pico de gallo, a little bit of sour cream because they fucking drench it sometimes. Lettuce, cheese. And chips and guac on the side. Yeah, Naruto, that is true. The speed had the hype factor help the growth, but no real authentic connection. So any controversy or minor L taken and people who come for the hype just as quickly leave. Right, it's a bell curve. And that's exactly why I nailed the fall of $1 billion company. Quite literally for what you just said. It's insane, bro. I literally thought about that the other day. I was just thinking about random shit. And I was like, you really did predict the fall of $1 billion company. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, just think about that. You just get that consensus like, hey, yo, y'all don't run this shit correctly at all. This is not sustainable. And then like 2.5 years later, boom, clapped. That's insane. That's fucking insane. I still think about that from time to time. Probably my most impressive call out, I guess, to this day. You know, beyond coffee, beyond oil, stuff like that. No, the 50th law. What I wanted to do was make the phases of price the 50th law. But I went ahead and just let you know, T-Trades teach you guys how to do that shit. I told you I didn't want to like remake stuff or re-explain stuff. I was like, you know what? His series is good enough for an explanation. The visuals are nice. The examples are fine. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'll just let him do it. But that would basically be the 50th law if we were gonna have one. I'm sure I could pick out another one, but I don't know. So do we have high probability trading in here? If we have a potentially lower Dow and we have a potentially bullish NQ, potentially bullish ES, is that high probability? Or is that low probability, chat? You know, I don't even know if we have a Kava around here. Oh, we do. We do. Is that Mediterranean? Is that the right one? I may end up doing that. I won't. I'm gonna put a shirt on though. I'm not gonna wear this hoodie or I'm not gonna wear this sweatshirt out in 90 fucking degree weather. Yeah, is Kava Mediterranean? That looks pretty good. They got bowls, pitas. Ooh, look at that shit. Spicy chicken avocado pita. Fuck, that sounds good. Harissa, honey chicken, feta, hummus, avocado, pickles, feta again, corn, pickled onions, and hot harissa vinaigrette. That actually sounds really good. Maybe I have been there before. I don't know. I might just be lazy. Chipotle's closer. Now look. Chipotle obviously is a national chain. Their quality is not up to par, but it's not very far and they're pretty quick. That's why I said I might just be lazy and do that. Anyway, let me catch up on the chat really quick. Yeah, they did, Ricky. Yeah, they did. I actually had more of a problem with the other educators like taking my stuff and taking some of the trade houses stuff and then pretending it was theirs with no credit. That bothered the fuck out of me for a while. Mark, I live in Houston. Oh, Ricky, I got your message late. Wasting so many people's time when they should have just been promoting trade. Right. Right, exactly. I only heard Matt Rosa promote for the trade house like one time. It was one time at a Miami event in the middle of like a 2-hour rant. So just then we never got the promotion they never got the promotion they deserved. We never got the promotion that we deserved. But you're also correct. A lot of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for IM. That is also correct. It's a double-edged sword. They had their good stuff and they had their fuckery too. The braised lamb. Okay. I'll have to write. I may not go today, but I'll at least write that down. That does sound good. I haven't had lamb in a while. I haven't had that in a while. Right. There's the message and the messenger. You need both. The leadership can't be, or the leadership of the message can't be a serpent, right? No, I agree. I absolutely agree. I mean, I wanted to do leadership training. I wanted to help develop people. But, you know, nobody wants to listen to me. That's fine. That's why I warned everybody with that article and said, well, enjoy it now, but it ain't going to be around forever. This is what I was hinting at. So anyway, look, I'll close with this. What you guys have to realize, bro, I said this the other day on my story, if you can allow me to rant for just a minute or two. When you read old text, when you read, let's say, the Bible, when you read Stoic philosophy, when you read old novels, I'm reading a novel right now called The Moviegoer. It was written in the 60s, right? When you look back in history, world history, it could be American history, which is littered with violence and racism, but if you even at European history, all the Russian philosophers, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, XYZ, what you'll realize is a lot of people had the same problems that we do. And Ecclesiastes and Proverbs, okay? Let me show you something real quick. Let me show you guys something real quick. Okay? You may not be a fan of the Bible. I don't know. Talk to your mama. But what I have here, I know I've showed you this before. There's a small book, very thin, on Ecclesiastes. There's also another one of Proverbs. It's a little bit, there's more meat in Proverbs than there is Ecclesiastes. But what you'll learn, bro, you probably heard this before. There's nothing new under the sun. The same stuff keeps happening. Nations rise, nations fall. Businesses rise, businesses fall. Relationships rise, relationships fall. The markets fall, the markets rise. It's always a constant flux. It's always a constant flux. Heraclitus, 2,000 years ago. No man steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. Everything is in a constant change, for the good or for the bad. Nothing stays the same forever. You know what I mean? So when you see wild success very quickly, you know it's not going to last forever. Now, every once in a while, you'll get somebody like LeBron James to be in the league for 40 years or whatever it is, and you know, great. But that's like cream de la cream, bro. That's 1% of 1% of like 1%. Most businesses, most people, most traders are not going to be the top 1% of the 1%. It's not going to happen. So when you see, let's say companies do bad, for example, or like, let's say their stock price. Okay. I kept saying, let's go over McDonald's and I forgot about it. Right. Things are in a constant state of flux. McDonald's gave us equal highs and then hit the rip ass. Okay, we took out that old low. And I told you earlier this year, back in June. I think it was in June. Maybe it was earlier. Fuck, I can't remember. Well, anyway, we talked about McDonald's. We talked about it again. And I told you, even while we were in here, what we would do. Once we get through that gap, we'd probably get back into it and then launch, right? What the fuck have we done? We got through the gap here very not the greatest. We traded back below the gap, actually, to the extent of this gap and imbalance, rather, right? Okay, fine. We traded through it again. Then right there, we've been bullish, right? Right. Companies are not going to do bad forever, especially blue chips. You think McDonald's is going anywhere? No, they're not going anywhere. So fundamentally, there's nothing wrong with McDonald's, at least I think, right? And the equal highs is even better. So yeah, the short term might be trash, but the long term is going to be solid. And it's the same thing in the reversal, right? McDonald's had really, really great price action for, I don't know, 6 months or so. That's not sustainable. Eventually, we'll see a retracement. You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of if, it's really a matter of when, you know? So when companies do see success fast, that's when you have to be the most careful, you know? That's why I was trying to read all those leadership books, and I was saying, hey, bro, like, something's got to change because we are fucking up. You don't know how many customers came to me, bro, all the time with you know, really bad stories. Blew this account. This other educator told me not to trade with a stop loss. I lost 10 grand, this, that, and the third. It was filthy, bro. And that's what prompted me to like really look into what we were doing. Like, okay, what's really going on here? You know what I mean? So it wasn't hard to figure out. No, I'm not. Oh, no, wait. Tempest? I might be. I said I wasn't going to be here much longer, than here I am being here much longer. Tempest. No. No. I don't have Tempest. I still have a little bit of VST. I still have some VST. But same idea from this year too. Sometimes in the short term, things may look a little bit muddy, but in the long term, if there's nothing wrong, we're going back up. And yeah, I'm still holding McDonald's. Mickey D's. So, but anyway, I'll close with this now. Everything is in a constant state of flux. Even our P&L, right? Sometimes we go higher, sometimes we go lower, sometimes we're flat. Things only go up forever. I mean, things don't go up forever. They only go up, you know, and eventually it's going to stagnate or eventually it's going to reverse. But when things are slow and steady, they will last. They will last. And right, Ricky. I mean, you know, if it wasn't for Darwin, you would have never met me or Jordan or any of the trade house. And that's why I'm saying, like, bro, it wasn't just 100% bad. You know, yes, there was good opportunities. You know, I joined, I had 200 followers, bro. And I went to like 8,000 in like a year or two. You know, I was really put on 100%, especially being an educator too. You know, then, you know, one day I was like, this educator shit's kind of not what it used to be. Doesn't really mean a lot to me anymore. So, but yeah, if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for the company, we probably wouldn't be on YouTube now, right? So of course. Everybody blows accounts on 30. No, that's funny. Anyway, y'all be good, be blessed. I gotta go get some food, man. I'm about to pass out here, dog, if I don't get something to eat. So, yep, still hard to say. Are we gonna go higher or are we gonna go lower? I really don't know. I really don't know. I want to be bullish on ES and NQ, but I want to be bearish on Dow. So I think I'd rather just go eat. you know, miss taking any dumbass trades, and then, you know, be satisfied from eating. So I feel like that's a great, and I get to drive the vet a little bit too. So I'd rather just do that. So y'all be good, be blessed. We will not be here Thursday. I never stream on Thursdays. So Libright will be in the Discord tomorrow at our normal time. I'll be here on Friday. Okay. Y'all be good, be blessed. Don't do anything stupid. And I'll see you then.
Mm-hmm.